Hey everybody, gonna do a video review today on this guy here, which is the Ruger P345. If anybody's seen my channel, you'll know that I picked this up around Christmas time. I did an unboxing video of it. It's basically part of my Christmas presents for my loving wife, and it's one I've been looking for because I have kind of a love for these P-series of guns that Ruger put out. So because of that, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to show kind of the progression of the P-series, since it was Ruger's pretty much bread and butter semi-automatic pistol for almost 20 years. So we'll come back to this guy in a minute, but first we're going to look at some of these other ones here. So the first one we're going to start with here is the original P-series, which is the P85. This one's actually a P89, but there's very little differences in these from an aesthetic point of view. They all look fairly similar. And the P85 was basically developed for the military trials to replace the M1911 pistol, and the Beretta won those military trials. I think everybody knows that. So, and in 1987 they decided to release this model on the civilian market, and it kind of had a little bit of a following. People liked it, but it's a duty size pistol, so carrying it can be kind of a challenge. Concealing it can be kind of a challenge. It's fairly thick. It's got decent 3-dot sights for back in being a gun that was developed 30 years ago. It's came out in 87, and around they had some safety recalls on it. If broken firing pins could cause a negligent discharge on them, and they recalled a lot of the pistols and came out with the P85 Mark II in 88, and then in 1990 they ended the production of the 85 Mark II and released the 89, which basically was just an upgraded 85 Mark II. A little bit different sights, and they started offering a decocker only model instead of a decocker safety model. You can see this one here actually is the P89 DC, which means it is a decocker only model. Now, the P89s were around for quite a while. I think they stopped producing these in around 2007 or so. So, about 10-11 years ago. And they were their kind of mainstay gun. They also released the P90 in 1991, which is basically this gun, only instead of firing from a 15-round box magazine, which this does, it fired from an 8-round single-stack 45 caliber magazine. Later models also would be the P93, the P94, and the P944, which were all basically this gun with a shortened barrel length similar to the next one we'll talk about here, the P95. They have an aluminum alloy frame, stainless steel slide, and I mean, they're a decent option out there if you're looking for a home defense gun, or if you're somebody that likes a full-size gun. They absorb recoil really well and are really pretty easy to shoot. The triggers on them, by today's standards, aren't going to be great. Pretty heavy. Double action and single actions got a medium reset, I'd say, and not a bad pull. They're probably about 5.5, 6 pound pull on single action. So I would put these in a solid option if you're somebody new to guns and want something that's not going to recoil a lot, because the weight really soaks up a lot of it. Now, in 1995, hence the P95 designation, actually it was introduced in 96, developed in 95, and they came out with their first polymer framed version of this, which was the P95. I think this is what a lot of people think of when they think of a P-series gun. Compared to the P89, it's definitely, I hold these up together, a little bit shorter overall length, not by much though, about, like I said, less than an inch shorter, and it's about the same thickness. They're both fairly thick guns, very similar 3-dot sights. I will say the trigger on the 95s is, well, mine anyway, is long, but It's a little bit lighter. It's still a pretty heavy pull, and it stacks a little bit, but it's not bad. It's smooth enough that you can definitely shoot well and double. Single action on these have a little bit shorter reset than the 90s or 89s, and it's almost exactly the same, really. Again, it fires from a 15 round magazine, and these have ambi decocker. If this was a safety model, it's the decocker safety. It's both ambi mag releases. The only thing that's not ambi is the slide stop on these. The mag release is a little different. You can see this right here. It kind of pushes forward instead of a normal button or pullback. They can be kind of tough for some people to hit. You can see my thumb won't quite hit it. But the nice thing with it being ambi is you can use your middle finger on the offhand and push it forward. So these came out in a 45 version too, which was the P97, and it kept these going for about, well, I believe the 95 was discontinued in 2013. So really the SR series kind of supplanted these as their main gun. And the 97 version didn't last nearly as long. That was about 04. And these came in 9, 40 cal, and the 97 was the 45. Another good option. I mean, it's got some weight, and it's a very easy gun to shoot. And they are carryable. I carried this one for quite a bit. These can usually be found nice shape around the $300 mark, right around there. And they're a pretty good pickup too, for what they are, if you're looking for more of a full-size gun. We'll set that one off to the side here, and we'll get to the last one here. Now, in 2004, they were introduced the P345, and you can kind of see it's definitely more kind of sleek looking, if you can call any P-Series gun sleek looking. Still a polymer frame, and it's a single stack pistol. Feeds from a very 1911-ish. In fact, you can use 1911 mags in these. The only difference is you have to cut this release into the mag release slot, whatever you want to call it. A little bit different spot on a 1911 mag. It's a little bit higher, so you can actually cut a new slot in these and use 1911 mags. This is a 345 mag here, though. It's an 8-shot 45 ACP pistol. You can kind of see they thinned it down quite a bit, even from the P95 series. They thinned down these safety and decocker. This one does have a safety on it. What I could find. These are kind of hard to come by sometimes. And the sights are a little bit nicer than they were on there. They're still a 3-dot sight, but they're a little bit easier to pick up than they are on the 89 and the 95 models. These guns were out starting in 04 and pretty much ended production in, I think, 2013, 2000. Still seeing them as far as 2015, but I don't think they were in production. They were just getting rid of stock until the SR45 series came out and pretty much replaced this. This is also the first one that you saw that had the implementation of a small pick rail on the bottom for somebody that runs weapons lights. Takedown on these it's definitely kind of borrows from a John Browning design. So for takedown on these, you're going to lock the pistol back. You'll look in here, and the ejector is going to be kind of hard to see. You can kind of see the ejector right here. You have to flip that ejector down and then release the slide, and there are witness marks right here. And then you can push the slide release out the side, and it comes apart. Everything comes out the front. And see, the polymer frame, it's not full-length rails, but everything I've read on these, the polymer frames on these are pretty sturdy. And see the trigger bar and everything in there. It's a very simple design gun, and it works very well. These were known for being very reliable. Well, after that, you have a non-captive recoil ring, and you can kind of see the guide rod, and And it's got kind of an interesting action. You can see it's kind of a toggling lock action to it. And the lockup is pretty tight on these. These are some pretty heavy barrels on them. They work pretty well. Reassembly is pretty easy. You just do everything back in the same order and get it all back together. Now, the only downside with reassembly on these is lining up this toggle action in here. Let's see if I can get it. You gotta feed this guide rod in kind of just right. Something not working. I think I might have that on backwards. But show here. Nope, it was right the first time. Kind of see here. We'll get this back together here. Hold on, let me take it up here. There we go. Sometimes it takes two hands to get this back together because it's a fairly stiff spring. And you have to line up this here, and we can show you, down into where it gets into that toggle there. So after that it goes back together normally like any other pistol. So I can put the hammer back. Hold on. Ah, I see the problem. When I was taking it down, the ejector came back up. It's something you have to watch out for with these. That ejector has to be down to disassemble or reassemble the pistol. And you reline up the witness holes and put your wide release back in. There we go. There we are. And there we go. Now the trigger pull on these, again, you have your take up, but it's a shorter over travel. There's almost no over travel. And the reset is a little shorter than on the 9mm guns I showed earlier too. It's actually a pretty decent trigger for the gun. The specs on this are going to be, it's a just shy of 7 3/4 inches overall length. It's about 1.5 inches wide, which shaving down these safeties kind of helped it out a little bit with that. It's got a 4.25 inch barrel, 5 3/4 inches high, and weighs in loaded at 36 ounces, so it's fairly heavy. But we're going to compare it to something like, let's say, a 1911 pistol. I can hold these up kind of side by side. You can see it's slightly smaller than a 1911, and it's slightly lighter than a 1911. It carries very similar. I've been carrying this for about 2 weeks now, on and off, and it carries pretty well in an outside the waistband holster. So now these are going to be in the $350 to $400 range. I picked up mine for about $350-ish, and this is a fairly decent example. It's in pretty good shape. At the range, it's been pretty well. I've run about 500-600 rounds through this so far, and I've yet to have a malfunction with it. So pretty much most of these P-Series guns are going to have very few malfunctions. They're known for being very reliable guns, even if they are a bit kind of clunky looking, especially the older ones. This one doesn't have that so much. They're in Ergonomics. It's got checkering on the back strap and on the front strap and the side panels. It's pretty nice. It's small, but it gives you a decent purchase. It's not going to slide out of your hand very easily. And these have this kind of thumb rest in them, which make it feel pretty good in your hand. This fits my hand pretty well, actually. So we'll take a look at this at the range here, and thanks for checking this gun out. Hey everybody, we're out here today with the Ruger P345. Double action pull on this is fairly long and kind of tough to get a handle on sometimes. I have a little bit of trouble with it, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad. Single action pull actually is pretty nice. It's a little mushy, but it definitely has a somewhat shorter reset, and it's easy to keep control of it. We're going to back her up to about 10 to 12 yards here, and let's see what kind of action we can get from back here. Not too bad. Shooting to the right a little bit, I think, is more me than the gun. Now we'll take her back all the way to about 25 yards and see what we can do from there. Alright, few final thoughts before I wrap this up. Like I said, I'm a fan of the P-Series guns. I guess compares pretty favorably. I mean, it was designed kind of in competition against some of the other 45 caliber double actions out. If you compare it to like a SIG 220 or something, size-wise, that's slightly smaller. I think they're really a good gun for the money. If you can pick one of these up in the $350, $375 range, I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find something that'll beat it in that area if you like a double action, single action gun. Lots of striker fired polymer guns that'll give you an extra round or two in them compared to this, and if that's your thing, then definitely go striker. But if you like a double action, single action pistol, again, these are going to be kind of hard to beat for the price. There's not a lot of them out there, 45 double action, single action pistols. So thanks for watching, guys, and hope you enjoyed my review of the P345 pistol, and I'll talk to you guys later.